Hey, 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 happy Sunday. All right, I will give it a minute for folks to join. Happy Sunday. Hi, Lorraine. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you are well. Thank y'all for giving me a few minutes. Today was one of those days. Have you ever been early only to end up late? That was me this morning. I was early, I was on point, I was doing all the things, and I still ended up being late. So thank y'all for waiting. Happy Sunday, Catherine. Hope everybody is well today. I hope you have enjoyed time with family or family, friends that have become family. I hope it's been good. I hope you had some good rest. I appreciate that, Lorraine. Hope you had some good rest. The other thing that hey Evelyn, the other thing that's happening over here is you can see behind me I put in some, so for my YouTube in Zoom sessions when the sun is out that window, add some funky light, and so I put up a black shade, my favorite, the little paper ones. They are so on point. If you don't know about them, you should get them. And so I added them to the rest of the room. So now it is I have a blackout happening in here, and it gets really dark, and that's some good sleep. I almost slept till next week one day. It was some really good sleep. You never really notice how much your body needs darkness to get some good sleep. So, like the little lights that'll come from outside, like street lights, that kind of stuff that still throw off your sleep. So, I have been using these blackout um, shades, and they are working miracles. Good afternoon, happy Sunday, everybody. Hi, Rosalind. Okay, Evelyn. Hope you have a good evening. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thanks y'all for being here. I hope everybody, as I was saying, has had a good absolutely. I hope everybody has had a good week. If you participate in Thanksgiving, if it's a family feast, exactly. If it was not Thanksgiving and it's just family getting together, or family, your friends who have become family. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've rested. I hope you have taken care of self. All the good stuff. Um, so today is, oh well, let me do my intro before I get ahead of myself. I was also apologizing because I was ahead of the game, and then somehow I was early and still ended up late. So my apologies. As I introduced myself, I am Jewel Pearson. I built a tiny house in 2015 because I don't believe you have to give up luxury. Well, I messed that completely up. I built a tiny house in 2015 because I want to live in no freedom. And it is a fancy tiny house because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. As I introduced myself, I am a lifestyle architect and strategist, a longtime advocate for intentional living and representation in the tiny house movement. And after living over a decade in my tiny house and in this movement, being in this movement, I use my experience and my expertise to help others create intentional and self defined lives through home design, through downsizing, through community. And if you'd like to connect with me, then once this video is up and going, you'll find links in the video description to do so. Um, it's so much more than just about a tiny house. The tiny house for me is the vehicle, but it has been the vehicle for so much. And it's about exit and hustle. It's about designing home. It is about living intentionally. It is about getting free. So that's what we're talking about. We are in a series right now, the 7 Sundays to 2026. Oh, I hope you feel better, Catherine. This is week 3, so we've got 4 more weeks, 4 more Sundays to, did I do my math right? 5. What week are we on? Are we on week 3? I'm so confused. This is week 3. Yes, this is week 3. All right, y'all. 2026 will be here soon. My math ain't mathing today. My bad. Um, so today we're talking about the break open. And um when we think about the break open, a lot of times the people will think it has to be something that is dramatic, something that is major, something that's big. Sometimes it is, sometimes it can be subtle. It is when something feels off or when your body starts reacting differently to things. Um, or the moment you realize you can't go back to living the life that you previously were living, or you just notice that maybe you've been carrying too much and you're tired, Catrice. It's not the break open isn't always an event, and it's not about the event. It is that you are now seeing things that you can't unsee, and it's about when something breaks you open. It is when truth gets revealed. You can't unsee what you just saw. Um, Sometimes people will call them turning points, but I don't know that I really would consider it a turning point because sometimes, most times with turning points, those are things that you choose. Break open moments are the ones that just kind of happen. Um, like I was saying, it happen in life. Something happens that breaks you wide open, busts you wide open, or it happens in your body, or it happens in your spirit, and your body, your spirit just refuse to. Hi, Michelle. Your refuse to let you just keep doing what you were doing. These are the moments that actually stop you, that you didn't schedule. As you know, I talk about Bruce's book that I refer to. It's the life quakes, things that you didn't plan for, you didn't script it, things that change your whole direction without like asking permission, like it just bust in there. And it isn't, as we're talking about the break open, it's not really about the story, like what happened. We don't have to talk about what happened. So as I talk about my break open moment and I share, it came through experiencing a stroke. So I don't have to talk about the stroke as the story, but it is the impact. Um, it is what happens, that the clarity that you get after the disruption, after that break open. It's the things that bubble up from that break open. And um everything that follows from there. So when I talk about the break open point for me from post stroke, and I talk about my new brain, um everything that followed, like, so the break open being, navigating health, figuring out what was going on, surgeries, and then after that, navigating the healthcare system that was on some bullshit, um, and a doctor who was on some BS. And if you're paying attention to news stories, we're seeing that happen more and more for Black women. There have been 2 stories that I've seen recently, women in labor. who were turned away from a hospital, or one woman, the damn lady trying to fill out her paperwork and she's in active labor, and then the woman who delivered in a car, because just a a terrible, horrible system that is not for Black folks. And now the stories that we've been telling are now being captured and shown. And so it was that, dealing with that for a year. Hi, Diane. Um, and so the break open was just everything that bubbled up after that for me, showing me where I had been pushing myself too hard, things I could no longer do, pushing myself just past my capacity, past honoring myself, as I've shared about my human design. If you all have, hi WLJ, if you all have been following me as I talk about human design, um, pushing past or not honoring exactly who I was, because trauma and life was were requiring that I operate in a different mode that wasn't actually even true, isn't true to who I am. Absolutely. Um, so this break open, hey Geraldine, um, has made me see places where I was performing and being resilient instead of actually living in alignment of with who I am. And so when you think about the break open, it's not punishment. So when I talk about Bruce's book, and he talks about life quakes, so many people think of them as, I mean, it is something terrible that has happened, but it's not punishment. It's not like terrible things don't happen because you're being punished. Um, they they happen. Um, and it is oftentimes it is an interruption that has a purpose. Hey there. Um, it is an interruption in life. It is a pause in life saying, telling you, you're not listening. You can't keep going like this. That's exactly what, hey there. That's exactly what the stroke was for me. And it's your body saying, hey, do you see me? This is what I'm over here trying to say to you. Hey, Keisha. Um, it is a break open can be your spirit saying, uh, this is about me. I need you to pay attention. I need you to focus, focus, focus. I need you to honor um who we are, what I'm trying to show you. It is listen, listen, listen. It's that it'll be the flashing light until it has to get to red. It's the flashing light that a lot of times we'll ignore, and then it's going to hit red and stop you and break you wide open. Um, the thing about the flashing red is most of the time you feel it. Your nervous system is always trying to tell you the truth first. And while that light is flashing yellow, and a lot of times you feel it, but your mind is trying to ignore it, negotiate with it. So if I talk about when um I first started feeling the flutters happening in my chest. Now again, when I did tell a doctor, so that's a whole different story. Absolutely. Sometimes the body says, "Hey fool." Absolutely. Um but so I felt it happening physically. My nervous system was absolutely was trying to tell me, like, during the work week, um my body during that work week was saying, something is happening. I would feel totally different during the work week. And my brain was trying to negotiate with it because I needed the job. I needed to figure out what was next. So I can't just up and quit said job without what's next. And this is what my mind is negotiating. And then it hit. Then the red light hit, and that was December the 23rd, 1920. I mean, 2023, 1923. That's when my Aunt Mary was born. 2023, when it came to a halt, and so all the negotiation had to stop. Um, Sometimes that the nervous system talking to you feels like fatigue, but it that fatigue doesn't respond to you resting. You are tired, but you are still tired even when you're resting. Sometimes that the nervous system trying to tell you something, and y'all know I love the color purple, so in the background when I say the nervous system is trying to tell you something, y'all should hear God is trying to tell you something, and from color purple. Sometimes the nervous system trying to tell you something is who I tell you, my friends, to just be not paying attention that I'm on YouTube at noon on Sundays. Um, Sometimes it's like things that you used to be able to tolerate that irritate you to no end. So irritation around people, places, and things that you used to be able to tolerate. Your nervous system is trying to tell you. Um, you no longer have the bandwidth for certain people, places, or things or expectations. You suddenly need silence or space. You start recognizing, things, not, not necessarily sounds, but things are too loud and you need silence or you need space. Um, um, and your nervous system starts shutting down your old ways of functioning, which were likely dysfunctional, or you functioning on trauma or on exhaust fumes, and your nervous system starts shutting down those old ways of functioning because it's not it's not good for your body. Your body is like, okay, we've done this long enough. We can't keep doing this. Um, you gotta listen, Michelle. You gotta listen. You gotta get quiet and listen. And I like to share post stroke that you got to get quiet and listen before you get to the red light. Like if what's happening right now is the yellow flashing light, and you got to sit down and listen and figure it out before you get to the hard stop. Um and because some of us, and when I talk about human design and what I've learned about myself and how I've been operating, some of us have been able to work in override of how we are actually designed for a long time. And the break open that happens stops that. And the break open, we hope it's not something traumatic, but it can be if you're not listening. If you continue to override, the break open doesn't can't be kind because it's like I've been warning you. Um And in the work that we were doing, like in the becoming, like we're not pushing anything to figure out like what it is, but you got to get still and you got to get quiet and you got to listen and you got to pay attention to the signs. Um, because they're around the things that you can like and the things that you can no longer tolerate that you used to be able to tolerate people, places, and things. That's your body saying. It's almost like when they say a dog and the hair raises on the back of a dog. We have those things too, where your skin, you feel something. Your nervous system is trying to tell you something, and you gotta be still and put in the time to listen and acknowledge that. Um, when we were in the becoming series that I did, we were talking about who you were and who you're becoming, not forcing any of that. Here we're talking about what shifted you into the becoming. So the becoming is like the identity work. This is the clarity work. Um and I as this is bubbling up, if we're not paying attention, then you never get settled. If this is breaking open and you're not paying attention to what is happening and what's trying to tell you, then you're not going to find the peace to navigate after the break open. The break open is the exit point. It's that point where life says, "Okay, we're done." As I've been sharing the exit ramp, the off ramp, or this is the exit ramp. That's the um, point where life says, "Okay, we're done going down that direction. We're done with that road." You didn't choose this break open point. You didn't choose whatever happens to break it open, but you get to choose what comes after it. And oftentimes we've talked about this, how it's so easy to stay in some of the same paths because hey Cynthia, yeah. It's so easy to stay on those same paths, but out of habit, out of loyalty, out of responsibility, guilt, fear. Even when we know life has shifted, but we're still going down the same path because it's comfortable and we don't want to rock the boat. Like this season, at this holiday season, is a perfect example of that, where people will still do things, entertain people, go to places that they know no longer comfortable for them, places they know they don't want to be, um, places they know they got to decompress from once they leave, places they know can potentially cause them harm because you're not being cared for in those spaces, people, places, and things, but you still go because you feel like you're expected to, or you feel a responsibility to go, to do, to see, to be around those people. Um, you're not doing yourself any good. And at some point, or either you'll continue to dishonor what your body is trying to tell you, or you will at some point honor it and decide to walk a new path that leads to peace, that feels like peace. And for me, so much as I think about it, is life is short. why would I continue to do the things that I know cause me harm, or spend time with people that cause me harm or don't mean me well, or people that you just even outgrown? It doesn't even have to be trauma, or it doesn't have to be drama. Sometimes it is you just don't, because remember I always say everybody can't go. So sometimes those folks just can't go. Absolutely, Keisha. Keisha says sometimes the universe will close a door so loudly that we will finally stop knocking on the wrong one. A forced realignment. Absolutely. So instead of instead of not honoring what we know the break open is telling us, you do yourself some good as the break open gives you permission to leave. And you do yourself some good to listen, to move, to use that opportunity. Again, the holidays are always a good time for that. Like I shared last week, as I go into New Year's, into a new year, I try to make sure I'm spending time with people that I want to spend time with in that new year. And so I can set myself up for success. The break open gives you the permission to do that, because your spirit, your body, your energy is telling you something has to change. You got to do something different. Fusion says, I am loving how the spirit is moving so consistently. We're being called to listen inward deeply and release all that is not aligned with our divine assignment. Absolutely. Like, this aligns so much with the shitstorm that is the United States of America. Like, if you don't get right now that we are being called to do some things differently, especially as Black folks, if you don't get right now that we are being called to live differently, to be in community, to focus on self, our health, our mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of them, health. That is what the world is telling us right now. The world is telling us to get free. And your body is telling you the same thing. And so we got to listen. And so again, I said in the beginning, that break open isn't always loud. Clarity isn't always loud. And the realizations, the truths that show themselves after, hey Shay, the truth that shows itself after that break open is usually a soft truth. Like, it ain't always smacking you in the face. Sometimes it's a soft truth. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tris. It is this, in that softness, you can take the time to reorganize slowly. Like, it's not a rush. It's okay, things are being revealed. I'm starting to see. Okay. It's quiet after the break open. Like, you busted wide open, but now it's some quiet time for you to get it back together, for you to listen internally to what you are. Yes. For you to listen internally to what's coming up, what's happening, what's telling, what your spirit, what your energy, what your heart, all of those things, what it's telling you. It's the quiet time for you to pay attention to your energy shift, your capacity shift. Um, as I've shared in after my surgeries and still trying to navigate knowing that I felt so different mentally, and dealing with the neurologist and then getting testing and recognize, and then the validation that the testing provided that what my break open had been telling me about how my new brain needed to operate and what I could and couldn't do anymore. That was that was what my body had been trying to tell me that I hadn't figured out yet. But during that quiet time of being broken, busted wide open, is when I've been able to figure that out. And my shift in energy, my shift in capacity, now it all makes sense. But if I hadn't been in tune enough to figure that out, and to listen, to honor that my body was trying to say something is different, something ain't right no more. If I hadn't listened to that and just been quiet and been paying attention to the signs, I'd still be trying to figure stuff out. And that's what the quiet part after being broken wide open is about. It is release is a it's a release of expectations, a release of roles. Like I had to sit down and acknowledge that the lifequake had happened and I couldn't continue to function in that way. And so I had to release the role of Jewel who just does and does and does and can and is, do this and can do this and multitask. I had to release that. I also had to recognize that I needed to rest before I could rebuild. Um, Literally rest before I could rebuild, because I am, what is the day? November the 30th. I'm just a few days away from when I went through tearing my house apart and moving it to this location. That was on December the 4th. And I had to rest before I could put this back together. I had to rest before I could put myself back together. Like I've said before, it's like Humpty Dumpty. And this quiet part of being broken wide open, and then what you do in that quiet part is the most important thing. It is the call to alignment. Like something is calling your energy, something is calling your spirit, something is calling you to figure out all the things, um and sit with being broken wide open. um and I feel like, and you have to be able to recognize when you're broken wide open. And Evelyn is saying sometimes sitting still and being quiet is the hardest part. It is, because that's not what society is that's not how society is designed. There's always some constant stimulation purposely to keep you unfocused. And so to sit still and to get quiet is so very hard, but it's so worth it. And before the election even happened, um we're talking about creating that quiet space because it's necessary. Absolutely. It's necessary. You got to be able to unplug from everything just so you can hear and listen and take care of self. Because otherwise, society will have you in go, go, go. Like right now, all of the push stress that most people, a lot of people, I ain't gonna say most, a lot of people go into from a holiday perspective. That makes zero sense. Zero. That the shopping, the and I'm I'm on the boycott, so I Black Friday, I spent money with a black owned business, and it wasn't a lot of money. I'm on the boycott. I have never ever ever, like, when people go out to stores on Black Friday, I have never in my life gone out to a store on Black Friday. That just makes zero sense to me. The rush to do all of the things, to overconsume, overspend, overstress for Christmas, that don't make sense to me. Um, so this is the time of year where people don't want you to focus, and this is the time of year, and this is a time of life, and this is a time in this country that we have to sit still and listen. It is designed distraction, absolutely. Purposely, it is designed distraction. Keep you spending money, stressed out because you got to do all the things. The kids are looking at all of the that's beautiful. Kids are looking at all the things that they got to have, and they ain't even using the shit they had from last year. It is design distraction, overconsumption, it is stress, it is nonsense. um, so the quiet part, like, it is until you can get quiet and pay attention. um you might not even know that you in a break open, but some clues for knowing that you're in your break, you're being busted wide open, is you can't sustain what you used to sustain. And or sometimes stuff just becomes clear that you didn't even ask for. I always say I never go looking for stuff. I don't go looking for stuff. I am not the person who has ever dated somebody and I go through their stuff. I have never done that. I'm very proud to say that. I ain't going through your phone. I ain't going through your house. I ain't going through your shit. I don't have time for that. But that does not mean stuff doesn't um that doesn't mean stuff ain't gonna show up that you need to see. And that's the clarity that you'll have that you didn't even ask for when you in that open, when you're being broken open. Stuff will show up. Another clue that you are being or that you are in that break is, again, when you're tired in a different way. It ain't I need to go to sleep. You just tired of people, places, and things. You're tired in a different way. I can no longer spend time in this space. I can no longer spend time with these people because your values are starting to shift. Your relationships feel different. Your bandwidth changes. You start asking different questions about your life, like why, why am I doing that? Like, things that maybe made sense to you before, they're not making sense anymore. Like, because there's a shift that's happening. You got busted open. And it's up to you if you are going to use the time to do something different, to grow, to be different, to take the opportunity to use this break open to improve self, to honor self. Um, this for me, the break open has just been an amazing time. Um, I always share, like, I share my emotions were already emotional before. And now my emotions are just off the chart because it's like seeing the world so differently. And stuff just hits different for me. Um, it's just being busted wide open. And my gratitude is that's beautiful. Um, exactly, WLJ. Um, and you get to see and experience life so differently when you honor being broken open. And so I hope you will. I hope you will sit and listen, recognize when you're being broken wide open, when you're being called to move differently, to act and do and be different. And just yeah. Chase, and that's a new spiritual level that brings inner peace. Inner peace is everything. Um and now is the best time to look at and understand what if there was something that broke you open this year, what did you learn from it? What clarity did you get from it? Or if you haven't done the work to get the clarity from it, then now's also a good time to do that. There's no time like the present. It's the best time to do it. A lot of us have time off from work. This is as you go into 2026, honoring who you are, who you're taking, what self you're taking into 2026. And if you start doing the work now, then you already got a head start. Because we got 4 more Sundays to 2026. And so this is, as I'm working on my off-ramp stuff, this is on YouTube. This is part of my Exit 2 stuff. And Exit 2, I've gone through and trying to organize my YouTube content so that it aligns with where people are in their off ramp. So Exit 2 is about transitions and it's about alignment and intentional living. And the break open is the shift that starts that process. Like you got to get busted wide open to recognize, to realign, and to focus on intentional living, because so much of how we've lived up to this point is just what life has given us, what life is throwing at us. And it makes a big difference when you step back and you start focusing on the intention and being intentional. Absolutely. All right. That's what I got for y'all today. I do want to invite y'all. So I have shared before that I am transitioning my Soul Collective community. So outside of YouTube, there's a whole community of us that get together, and it's absolutely. Hey Bridget. Outside of YouTube, there is a community, the deeper Soul Collective community. So y'all are the Soul Collective, but we get to be deeper in community and we get to actually interact. So we do stuff on YouTube and we get together at my house and we do things together. And plan more of that. So I am shifting that community from Patreon to High Level, which is another platform. Um, my hope and intention with High Level is that it allows, absolutely, thank you, that it allows for more two-way communication. I struggle with Patreon because I feel like I'm talking to people instead of talking with people, and I want to be in community so we can talk together with each other. And so that is what have a good day, Evelyn. That is what my intention is with um, the transfer over to High Level. And so I am doing a walkthrough today of the community, and everybody is welcome to join the walkthrough. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. This is a YouTube link. If you want to join us today, it is at 6:30. Let me make sure it's 6:30. Yes, 6:30. If you want to look at the community with us, share with us this evening. Thank you, Rosalind. I'm looking forward to you being there. You want to be in deeper community. This is your invitation to join us for deeper community. I have it's $35 a month until I think it's January the 4th is the introductory rate to join us in community. And you'll get to see the community and the activities, the things that we do. And that's it. That's what we're doing. 6:30 this evening. So if you're available later this evening, please join us for that. Even if you have no real desire to be in community right now, you might come over there and realize you need to be with us. So come join us. And join us next week, week 4. We are continuing this series until 2026. It's been the 7 Sundays of 2026. And so I hope you'll join us next Sunday. Oh, thank you, Keisha. It was an amazing time. And I thank y'all for being here. So yeah. I'll see y'all. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Safe travels for folks who are traveling. Enjoy your week. And I'll talk to y'all next Sunday. Take care, everybody.